MetroNews Talkline. We are live in the upper rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. It is a loaded show. Let's not waste any time. We are underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded.
We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up, Blake. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome inside the West Virginia State Capitol. We're at the AARP broadcast location. Dave and TJ on a very busy Tuesday at the Capitol. It's buzzing here in the upper rotunda. It's Local Food and Farms Day. It's Occupational Therapy Day. It's EMS Coalition Day. It's Sportsman's Day. Plus, we got a loaded show to talk about TJ's favorite subject. He's been going over the budget the last 24 hours.
Oh, it's like
morning,
a kid on
sir.
Christmas morning, isn't it?
I haven't seen you this excited since last year when the budget started
I like
to roll
numbers.
out.
I like numbers. They make sense, and now we can debate what we spend, what we don't. I mean, it's fun stuff, Dave.
We will get into it. Senate Finance Committee Chairman Jason Barrett's going to join us on set bottom of the hour. U.S. Senator Jim Justice will call in. We'll also check in. American Cancer Society is here today. Representatives from the city of Fairmont. So loaded show, plus Brad McElhinny in there as well. Lots to get into today, but let's begin. Here at the AARP broadcast location, joining us, Wood County Delegate, House Finance Committee member, Delegate Bob Fehrenbacher. Delegate, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Appreciate you stopping by. It's buzzing in here today.
Oh, it is really busy. Yes, lots of organizations here today. It's a good opportunity to get around and meet them.
The Senate is moving its budget. Got through Senate Finance yesterday, day 34. It's a little early, but that's not necessarily a bad thing to be talking about budget this early in the session.
I agree completely. We are finished in the House with our budget hearings, and now we're taking up other bills and the occasional appropriation.
So, Bob, one of the big stories with the budget has been since the governor made the state of the state, he put into his budget enough money to cover a 5% reduction in the personal income tax, yet he really wants a 10% reduction in the personal income tax. We saw what the House did yesterday. They're kicking some money in with the vape tax. Your personal opinion, because you can only speak for you, what do you feel? What are you seeing? Can we do 10%? Should we do 10%?
My personal viewpoint is that the Jobs First, Opportunity Everywhere agenda, to me, is going to have a sustainable benefit to the people of our state and generate revenue that should trigger further personal income tax reductions. On top of that, House Bill 2014, 50% of the proceeds are going to generate funds that will be devoted toward personal income tax reductions. I frankly, if it was me, would stay the course with those two key themes. And if we could afford some personal income tax reductions on top of that, that's great. But I wouldn't necessarily starve, the Jobs First agenda to get there.
If the Jobs First agenda is successful, do you believe we can get to those triggers?
Oh, absolutely. To me, the slate of bills that we have, none of them are really large, tremendous, require funding. So, but there some of them are not, zero fiscal notes. Senate Bill 1 that was just passed has got a fiscal note of about $15 million. I believe that's great for small businesses to grow the existing businesses here. Some of the other bills have also have fiscal impact, and I frankly, would like to spend those small amounts of money to drive growth, job creation, and not be able to find the funds for those programs.
I'm listening to your words, and you bring up something very important. You land a data center, there's a lot of money that comes in with that.
Absolutely.
We haven't done it yet. But what I'm hearing you say is you can't cut your way to prosperity. Is that fair?
I spent 40 years in the manufacturing industry, And I was always much rather prefer to grow prosperity rather than, cost reduce to prosperity. I realize that there are some benefits and we have to be competitive, but I believe there's a path to lower personal income tax. It's been set in motion, and I would let those plans, those triggers take effect and try to move them forward with the other bills I mentioned.
Talking to Wood County Delegate Bob Fehrenbacher here, House Finance Committee member as well. One of the bills with a fiscal note on it moved through House Education. That's the teacher moving through House Education, I believe still. The teacher pay raise bill. 3% pay raise for teachers, state troopers, and school service personnel. That's one of a couple of bills that have some fiscal notes. Can we make all this work, or how do we make all this work?
That's a great question.
I guess we'll find out Thursday when the budget rolls out, right?
Okay. That's it. I am aware that the Senate Budget Bill 250 came out of committee. I haven't seen all the details, but I'm curious as to what's in it and what's not. It's my understanding that they did put the 10% tax reduction in it. We'll see how it gets through the Senate floor. And then when it comes over here, we'll obviously have to negotiate between the House and the Senate what our relative priorities are and come up with the bill that goes to the governor.
So that's fair. The ComSub that does a lot of this, it wasn't in the system at least last night when I looked. It may be this morning, and I haven't been able to dive into it as much as members obviously have that have been able to see it. But when you think about that and you look at some of the overall characterizations, we moved Medicaid to the front of the budget, general revenue, which would seem to be a good thing. You want to live on what you have coming in, but with hope going to the back and the idea that looking forward, we know, at least in code now, the way it stands, we have to pay for the Hope Scholarship. Does that give you any pause that that's going to be entirely surplus? And if I read that right, we're spending every dime, even in anticipated surplus, so we're not going to have a cushion. Does that give you any pause?
It does. I mean, it's kind of like not having, that window or money that as individuals we'd like to have some that.
Yeah.
Hey, if something unexpected happens, hey, there's a repair that we need, a major appliance that we have to fund. If we don't have any money in our savings account or something like that, what are we going to do? So it's my understanding that the Senate budget doesn't spend everything. There's like a 2% margin, and the whole question is that sufficient?
Talking to Wood County Delegate Bob Fehrenbacher, you've been through this budget process a time or two. It came out early, so the sense of urgency is not extreme yet. Give it a couple of weeks, obviously. So what can we expect over the next 3-4 weeks, how this is going to play out? Certainly what is moving in Senate right now is not the final product.
I agree completely. We'll see. There are still some bills for appropriations from the governor that need to be taken up. There are, the relative priorities between the Senate and the House, and those negotiations between our respective finance committee chairs and their staff until we have agreement. I'm sure there's going to be some give and take.
So talk about that process a little bit deeper, because if you're looking from the outside in and you're John Q's citizen, but you're not familiar with the government budgeting process, it may look a little haphazard, but there's a process, and it takes time to play out.
Well, what will happen, and this is my experience, in the 4 years I've been here in the House, both chambers pass their respective budgets. So one will represent, or each will represent what their respective chambers have as their priorities. There are obviously differences, and then, frankly, they go into negotiation, and I'm sure there's some horse trading that goes on there until there's the final version.
That's life, right?
Well, that's it. I mean, my wife and I have those discussions.
Sure you do. Everybody does.
Well, that's right. So that's the way it goes down. Now, frankly, that's a relatively small circle. It's not the 25 committee members that from the House that are weighing in on those negotiations. It's leadership and staff that bring in not only what our committee feels, but, the leadership and the other committee chairs.
Hey, before we let you run off to your next meeting, any priority bills for you that you're trying to shepherd through this year?
Child care is, frankly, one of the things that I feel very strongly about. It's enabler for workforce participation, and so I've been passionate about that. I've got several bills that are in. I'm hopeful that some of those cross the finish line. And then, frankly, I want to help, the Jobs First agenda, including, manufacturing and energy. I'm the chair of the House Subcommittee on Energy and Manufacturing, and I want to see us utilize some of those state resources and capabilities, because I think they're underutilized today, and it'll benefit our state and our people.
You talked about child care. Are you a TriShare fan? Do you like that program?
Yes, I am. TriShare and, enrollment-based subsidies, and then, frankly, the after-school care, how that's accounted for so that those subsidies are able to be realized, and, the centers are compensated for the time that the school-age children are there at their centers.
Bob Fehrenbacher, Wood County Delegate, House Finance Committee member as well. Hey, thanks for stopping by this morning. Good to see you again.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
We'll get an update with Brad McElhinny next. This is Talkline from the AARP broadcast location.
Hospitals drive West Virginia's economy. They produce jobs and create opportunities while keeping our communities healthy. Employing nearly 54,000 people, West Virginia hospitals rank among our state's largest and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at WVHA.org.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Dan Cava Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
Metro News Midday gives you the news of the day as it's happening.
Well, yeah, I was going to say we'd get something more important, but probably not.
Honestly, no. We're just doing whatever. We're
probably
spitballing
not.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for Midday on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Senate Finance Committee Chairman Jason Barrett going to join us bottom of the hour. Brad McElhinny is our Capitol reporter. He's brought to you by AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Connect on social media at AARP West Virginia and learn more at aarp.org/WV. Brad, good morning.
Oh, hi, good morning.
How are you?
I am good, and my neck is starting to hurt from, it is the beginning of budget ping pong. And so a couple things. It surprised me how early that began. Yesterday, the Senate rolled out its preliminary version of what it sees as the budget. That's maybe 2 weeks earlier than normal. And, the theory of the case was, well, they're doing it early to try to buy time to compensate for any line item vetoes of the governor. But I think it's working on a couple of levels. Even as they discussed and passed first, the listeners might need to get caught up. So one significant thing they did was they passed a 10% tax cut bill. 10% personal income tax equates to about $250 million in state dollars. A part of that bill is increased taxes on vape products, and that would be, in the governor's terms, an offset of roughly $22 million. So $22 million offsetting $250. Then the Senate took up and passed its version of a budget bill, but simultaneously among senators as they discussed it, there was open talk of, well, this is not going to be the final product. We're not sure the 10% is going to get through. This is going to change. That's not uncommon, but I heard it as, some pretty pointed statements about we're going to get the ball rolling, but it's not going to be what we wind up with.
So then, is it fair to say they needed $250 million they had to come up with? The governor handled half of that in offsets. Is that fair? Or
Yep.
no?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
So $125 million, his budget proposal.
We got 22 in vape.
Uh-huh.
So we're still looking for $100
This
million.
is my kind of math.
Is that the best way to?
103 million.
103. Thank you. So we're still looking for $103 million.
$103 million.
As it goes over next door.
Yeah. So, under the umbrella of this is not the final product.
Yes.
A budget is a message. It's in black and white. It demonstrates your priorities. And the Senate did some gymnastics to try to get there. It brought all Medicaid spending into essentially the front of the budget. Mm-hmm. We're guaranteeing that
general revenue.
We're going to pay for all the Medicaid. But it flipped what the governor did and put a significant sum of Hope Scholarship money, $200 million or so. Hope Scholarship, of course, is the financial support for families who choose some option, not the public school system. And it's growing and growing and growing. They put a lot of that into budget surplus, meaning it's not necessarily paid for up front, but if the state runs a surplus, then the money would be there. To me, to put it in black and white like that sends a message to the governor. We might not be able to get all these priorities under the roof of the budget as you envision it. If you want to do 10%, got to make some choices. If you want to do Hope Scholarship paid up front, might not be able to do the 10%. I think that it begins to shoot that kind of rocket into the air to say, we have limited resources around here, got to make some choices.
Is this a situation, TJ? Brian, I won't put you on the spot unless you want to be. You can weigh in. Is this good cop, bad cop? Senate passes the governor's budget that includes a 10%.
I can't weigh in. Yes.
House has to be the bad cop in this instance, and in particular,
it's a hot potato.
We'll put it in Vernon Chris's department there.
And I will say, I think the reason the House is the bad cop is because, plainly, the governor does not enjoy as much political support in the House as what he does in the Senate. If I'm Jason Barrett, I'm not saying this is him, but if I am, I'm aware of that. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the pen, the hammer, however they deal with this thing in the House, is much larger than what it can be over in the Senate. But I agree wholeheartedly with Brad. This creates a very clear juxtaposition in that we have to fund Medicaid.
Yes.
Hope is in code.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it in surplus? If you know you have an ongoing expense, just budgeting 101 it ought to be in your general revenue, and you ought to be able to account for it. But betting on the come that you're going to have a surplus, even though we've had one for how many years now?
The final factor is there is interest in both chambers about doing additional financial support for the schools, but that's not reflected in the governor's introduced budget, and the Senate didn't budget for any additional money.
Yeah.
So, if you want to do that, I think the play is you think, all right, we're going to do the governor's 10% tax cut, and the Senate budget reflects that, but maybe it doesn't get through the House, and then maybe there's the kind of give that it would require to do that kind of millions of dollars of funding for local school systems.
Bottom line, it's only day 35, Brad.
Yeah.
It's only day 35.
Stop threatening me.
Hey, dare I ask what else is happening today?
So I did ask your next guest, Jason Barrett. I said, are we going to finish the budget by the end of the week? That was wishful thinking by me. I was like, sine die by Saturday. He said no. I accidentally walked out with the House Finance Chairman yesterday. It's a small town here, and that kind of thing happens. I said, do you want to comment on the Senate's budget? And he said, just be in my committee on Thursday. I took that as a hint. You might have heard about the bill you guys call the bailout bill. It's the Hancock County financial emergency. Well, how the Senate Education Committee took that up, and then they moved it to the back room for further consideration. It's sort of in purgatory. But the Senate Finance Committee, I barely remember this. There were two bills. One set up a fund where it could be an emergency fund for the schools. The other, the second bill, actually does the funding. It's an appropriation bill. So what Senate Finance has this afternoon is that appropriation bill. Bottom line, it brings that entire issue back to the forefront.
And that would be this year's budget. That would be fiscal 26 that supplemental would come from. But let's play this out.
It's more spending.
Let's say
Maybe.
something happens in fiscal 27. We have a similar issue. If you have spent everything and pre-spent your surplus, where do you get a supplemental then to cover the next oops?
Final point on that, the governor controls the revenue estimates, which doesn't mean necessarily that you would achieve the revenue, but one way he could have everything in this budget is to raise the revenue estimate.
Before I let you go, we would be remiss. Senate Bill 1 is done. It's headed to the governor's desk.
If you're watching MetroNews Television, I'm now doing confetti.
That's the first one, right? That's the first piece of legislation to get all the way through this year.
Yeah.
That's the Small Business Growth Act?
Yes.
Is that what it was called?
I think that's
Capital for Small Businesses.
There he is.
So, hey, we got one across the line.
Yeah.
Day 34.
Yeah.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny.
The dam is breaking.
Brought to you by AARP, your ally for real possibilities in the Mountain State. Connect on social media at AARP West Virginia and learn more at aarp.org/WB. Brad, always appreciate you stopping by.
Hey, thanks. Take care.
Coming up, Jason Barrett's going to join us. He is the Senate Finance Committee Chairman. Ooh, he's having a conversation with the House Finance Committee Chairman right there. Legislating is happening just to our right, TJ.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's deal making. Horse trading.
We see it happening right before us. We'll ask him what that conversation is about. He's going to join us next. A little bit later on, U.S. Senator Jim Justice will call in top of the hour. And we're hoping to have Brian Sanson, UMWA, on today as well. Loaded show. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 10:30. Let's check in with the Metro News Radio Network, find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. New United Mine Workers Union President Brian Sanson holding a news conference this hour in Charleston, and he's speaking out against new natural gas-powered plants being planned for the Mountain State. The state Senate gets the ball rolling on the budget bill.
The Senate Finance Committee has advanced two major measures, a budget bill and a separate bill calling for a 10% tax cut, sending both to the full Senate for consideration. The committee passed both on Monday. Senate Finance Committee Chair Jason Barrett said this was earlier than they normally would put out any financial bills. However, he says both chambers are committed to a significant tax cut for West Virginia residents. He says by putting it out early, they can get discussion underway quicker.
So this was really our way to really move forward, to be a leader on the tax cut, send it over to the House, let the negotiations begin.
The bill is also combined with a vape tax policy, which could raise roughly $22 million for the state. I'm Morgan Pemberton, WVMetroNews.com.
House of Delegates meets next hour on third reading the bill to extend the state's concealed carry without a permit law to 18 to 20-year-olds. A retired pediatrician, Dr. Jim McJunkin's concerned.
And you consider that firearms are the leading cause of death for children and adolescents, even though these are, approaching young adulthood, or by some definitions, young adulthood. They are at high risk for firearm-related injury and death.
You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Brighten your mornings with Tudor's $5 Sunrise Specials. Enjoy our Mary B, egg, crispy bacon, and cheese on our buttery biscuit, loaded with more bacon than the rest. Or try the Ron, featuring a bigger, hearty sausage patty topped with egg and cheese on a biscuit so delicious you'll savor every bite. Each combo comes with crispy hash browns and your choice of coffee or iced tea, all for just $5. Warm up winter mornings with this hot deal. Available for a limited time.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
Legendary West Virginia high school football coach Roger Jefferson has died. He won a state title at Charleston High and then 3 more at Capital. Friend Jim Hamrick says Jefferson loved football and the state.
He wanted to spread his wealth with others, and he wanted football to be good in the state.
Jefferson in a number of Hall of Fames, including being a member of the Marshall University Athletics Hall of Fame, where he lettered in football. Roger Jefferson died on Monday. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
MetroNews Talkline, we're in the upper rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. Yesterday, the Senate Finance Committee advanced the budget bill on day 34. However, I would classify that budget as being written in pencil. It does include a 10% reduction in the personal income tax, but some changes to the governor's proposed budget. The man with all of the answers is Jason Barrett, Senate Finance Committee Chairman, Berkeley County Senator. Jason, good morning. Thanks for stopping by.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Saw you and Vernon Chris, House Finance Committee Chairman. You got it all figured out now, right? Everything's done?
It took us about 30 seconds. We got it figured out. No,
we knew that's how it happened.
We have a few more weeks, so we'll get it taken care of.
All right. So yesterday's the budget that came through the Senate Finance Committee, different than what the governor proposed, does include his tax cut. So how did you find the additional 5% that the governor asked the legislature to look for to come to that 10% personal income tax reduction?
Sure. Happy to do that. And again, thanks for having me. And, I think that the governor has gone all over the state advocating for a 10% tax cut. I think in the Senate we want to be able to have that conversation. We want to try to get as close to 10% as we can. And this was really our effort to send a tax cut bill over to the House, get this conversation started very early. And it was important to me, at least, to include the budget as we pass that tax cut to show that there is a way to get there. This will not be the final product. As you said, it's written in pencil, and that's just how this process works. This is a budget process, and the House will pass its budget when they determine that that's necessary, and we'll negotiate from there to come up with a budget that meets the needs of West Virginians and hopefully provides the largest tax cut that we can do. But to get into specifics about how we structure this budget a little bit and some of the changes that we made to the governor's introduced budget, I think it's been widely reported about the change in the Hope Scholarship, and I think some of the unfair reports that we're not fully funding Hope, and I want to make sure that it's perfectly clear that we are funding Hope, and we're doing it in a little different way, not completely unusual from the way that it's been done in the past. We are going to run a supplemental for $100 million to pre-fund Hope for the first half of fiscal year 27. That's something that we typically do because of the payments that are made for Hope Scholarship are done very early in the fiscal year, which creates a cash flow situation. So we have to pre-fund that with a supplemental appropriation so that money is available immediately. The other way that we're funding HOPE in this budget is in the general revenue surplus. It's in the very front section of the back of the budget. So it is the first item when we have a surplus, that the first dollars in that surplus will go to fully fund HOPE at the $100 million in the supplemental, $200 million in the back of the budget, and that money will be funded very early, and that's typically done in August when there's a general revenue surplus item in the budget, that it is funded in August. So actually the money for HOPE will be there far faster this way than it would have been in the general revenue section of the budget. The other change that we made, we essentially swapped HOPE and Medicaid. We put Medicaid in the front of the budget as opposed to in the back of the budget. And one of the reasons for doing that, the governor had $170 million in the back of the budget, in the surplus section of the budget, for Medicaid, and $230 in the front of the budget for HOPE. So when we switched those, it freed up a little money to help pay for some of the improvements that we have, and also go towards some of the tax cut. Now, we also, in this tax cut bill, we inserted a vape tax in the governor's tax cut bill. It will change the vape tax a little bit and set it up in two different ways. On a closed system where you have the vape pen and you don't add the product to it, it's already in there. When it's finished, you throw it away. And the governor's making faces at me now. And I
think he bullwinkled you there.
He did. Rocky Bullwinkle. So the closed system is now going to be $1.20 per cartridge. Kentucky does it at $1.50. If we go to the open system for vapes, is now going to be 25 cents per milliliter as opposed to 7.5 cents per milliliter. That bill generates about 21 million additional dollars into our budget. So that's part of the offset. The governor's talked several times about offsets as it relates to this increased 5% tax cut. So, we brought one to the table, and there's been a lot of rumors about what some folks are supportive of an offset. I know we've talked about it on the show in the past, and so we wanted to put something on paper first. We wanted to say, look, we're here to come to the table. We're going to start this conversation very early because we want to make sure that we don't run out of time to get a tax cut that we can afford and to get that budget across the finish line.
A lot to unpack there, so
Sure.
Give me a little bit of rope. Let's go back to the vape and the $22 million that you put in. So a 10% tax cut is roughly $250 million. Do I have that right?
It is.
Okay.
Now, 125 of that was already baked into
Governor
the
had his 5%.
Correct.
So you got to come up with 125 for the other 5%.
Correct.
$22 million in vape. In your budget, is that other 103 somehow categorized in offset, or are you sending that over to the House to see what they can find?
We do have a balanced budget.
Okay.
The Senate did pass a balanced budget. I would never ask our members of our Republican caucus nor the members of the entire Senate to vote on a budget that is not balanced. There are some things in the budget that we used. One of them is the provider tax. The governor had asked for last year a $223 million spending authority for that provider tax. We provided him right around half of that. So they have a supplemental this year that the governor's office introduced to use the rest of that. Well, what we've done is increased the amount of that spending authority because that account has far more dollars in it than they're asking for. So we've increased that spending authority to allow them to use some of that money for Medicaid, and then we shorted the Medicaid line item to offset some of that. You also look at the health facilities. There are about $35 million of unencumbered money from the sale of the hospitals. So we are asking them to use that $35 million for some of their operations, and we shorted them in the front of the budget. And those things combined with flipping Medicaid and HOPE from the front to the back also was how we were able to get to a balanced budget. But there are also, TJ, there are also other things in the budget that are improvements. I mean, there's additional money for SBA, and the SBA, unfortunately, doesn't have the resources needed and has to deny projects across the state at times, much-needed projects in improving and building schools. The funding formula for higher education is completely funded in this budget. There was a 2% cut in the governor's introduced budget, and then he added on the CPI and added on some other small improvements. But we fully funded it, and it's the first time in the history of the funding formula that we have completely utilized it, including the CPI adjustment. The Jobs and Hope is restored to last year's funding level. There's an additional $1 million for pregnancy centers. So, we've done a lot of things, I think improvements in this budget that our members of the Finance Committee and I, to be honest with you, it was really important to me to have the other members of the committee have some say in this budget. I served in the House for a number of years, as you know, under a couple of finance chairmen who, made the members sit through 30 days of budget hearings and then did the budget entirely on their own. And I really rely on members of the committee to tell me bills that are important to them in that committee, but also tell me some budget items that are important to them in their district. And I do my best to try to incorporate something for all members of the committee.
Senate Finance Committee Chairman Jason Barrett joining us. Jason, the governor's 6-year budget, a couple of years out, in fact, I think fiscal 28, predicts a budget shortfall. Are we punting tough decisions down the road to make a possible tax cut happen this year?
We had those 6-year estimates for a number of years when I was first elected, and they were always very doom and gloom. They always showed us in the red, and they were always, I believe, to be worst case scenario. And there are also, and I think what you will hear from the budget office is that this is if we do nothing, and this is this changes daily, just based on the environment that we're in, based on conditions not only in this state but across the country. So. The 6-year plan does not give me a tremendous amount of concern because I've been here long enough to see the 6-year plan really show negative numbers moving forward, show that there are going to be tough times, and the legislature comes in and makes changes. The governor comes in and changes policy to make sure that we can right the ship. And it is a snapshot in time if you do nothing and if things, I believe, are kind of a worst case scenario on that 6-year plan.
Let me pose this to you. Back to the switch, Medicaid to the front, Hope to the back. Look, we got to fund both. They're in code. With that said, would it make your job easier and you could have both in general revenue, cash flow issue aside, and I get that up front. I mean, we could change that to pay out monthly if we wanted to in code rather than twice a year. But with that said, would changing the revenue estimates, because we've had surplus after surplus after surplus, would that give you a better ability to put ongoing costs in the general side of the budget, general revenue, rather than surplus?
I think it would give some comfortability to a lot of people to say, hey, this is the way that it should be done. Now, you're right. We still end up with that cash flow problem for Hope. And I think maybe we should get to a 4-payment system on Hope to lessen some of that cash flow problem. But certainly, the budget that we get and the both finance chairmen, we're dealt different cards every year, and the hand that we were dealt last year with the budget,
I don't envy you.
It is I enjoy doing the job. Sometimes it is frustrating, and sometimes it's a little more difficult than others. But we're dealt different cards every year, and you have to play. You don't play a 2-7 offsuit the same way you do pocket aces, and so that's what I'm mindful of. And and last year's budget had more things in the front, less through surplus. This budget is a little different. Now, last year, the governor's first year, we had some things in the front of the budget that were really one-time expenditures that really should have been in the back of the budget. But working with the executive branch at the time, they had a preference not to use the back of the budget. I think that this year you're seeing them use the back of the budget a little more, and that has gone on for as long as I've been here. We have put things in the back of the budget. Some of those are base items, and that is just the nature of the beast a little bit. In a perfect world, sure, we put everything in the general revenue section of the budget, have it all in the front, but that's just not the way it goes. One of the other things I want to point out is that the Senate budget also includes that $100 million in surplus for roads, and that is something that we have done over the past number of years. I think ultimately our long-term plan should be to get money in general revenue for roads so that they can better plan for it. When we put it in the surplus
on the maintenance side.
Yes, when we put it in the surplus section of the budget, they get that money. They have to be able to use that cash all in 1 year. They don't know until we leave here in March whether they're actually going to get the money. Then they have a little over a year to be able to spend that. If that's in the front of the budget, they can reappropriate money. It would give highways a lot more flexibility. It would make their process and their job much easier if we could eventually get to having some maintenance money in the general revenue section of the budget.
The budget negotiations are underway. Senate Finance Committee Chairman Jason Barrett. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
This is Talkline from the Upper Rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol, AARP broadcast location. Back in a moment.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Since 1926, the West Virginia Hospital Association has been the collective voice of our state's hospitals. With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University, your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Principal Greg Dosh of MTech.
Thanks to funding in part from West Virginia Lottery proceeds, we're expanding MTech with a new STEM edition.
Across West Virginia, opportunities like these are made possible when you play, helping to ensure more students can discover their future right here at home. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery for education have totaled $4.1 billion. West Virginia Lottery, 18 plus to play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All the sports West Virginia is talking about.
Nikki Izzo-Brown, coach of the nationally ranked WVU women's soccer team.
I think they're just having a very good understanding of each other.
Join Kyle Wiggs, Brett Howe, and Coach Hunter weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronewstv.com.
Stike Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. And we craft detailed financial plans for people like you because you're building your retirement your way. You deserve advice that's built to handle what your life brings. To meet with your Stike team advisor, call us at 304-443-4240 or email stike-info@wealthenhancement.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Back
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Powerball jackpots, $169 million. Mega Millions jackpots, $395 million. So go ahead, play today. You might recognize our next guest. He's the former Senate president. Today, he's at the Capitol representing West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy. Craig Blair joins us on the AARP broadcast location. Morning, Craig.
Good morning. And following your previous guest here, I was the finance chairman as well. I'm the guy that created that flatline budget, brought all the revenues into the state.
So you're ready to go back and go work on the budget then. That's what it sounds like to me.
I find it interesting that they're finishing the budget or passing the budget out here in the next day or so. It's early. One of the bright spots on that is it makes it so that you stop spending. You can't pass any Senate bills that's got spending attachments to it. So, hey, but the reason I'm here today is to come and actually tell the people of West Virginia and tell you guys that we've gotten over 6,500 signatures in support of transmission lines in the state of West Virginia. It's a big deal. The momentum is growing in the state to be able to do it, and as we were talking just a little bit off air here, it's a form of economic development. You get a good transmission network in this state is supporting President Trump's effort to upgrade the transmission systems that are 20th century, and we need 21st century transmission. But we need to have those networks to be able to do the economic development, whether it's data centers, of manufacturing. We wouldn't get the new cores, the CMCs, and all the other companies if you don't have the electricity to do it.
What would you say to critics who argue over certain lines that have been proposed? There's no value to West Virginia. They're running through West Virginia. We don't even have a substation. What would you say to that?
Well, there could be a substation, but if you don't put the transmission lines in at all right now, you're not going to have that. You've got First Energy that has made 2 announcements for energy for gas lines, and then President Trump announced, what was it, $43 million for upgrading of coal-fired plants. Well, 40% of our electricity gets exported out of the state, but as those lines are moving out of the state, you can put transmission lines anywhere in substations anywhere in the state of West Virginia, but you got to have the economic development to go there, whether it is data centers or manufacturing or any other high energy user. That's a big deal, and right now you don't have that. It's at a minimum, and what is happening is the transmission lines we do have are at capacity. So we're being able to support our tax base in this state by being able to transmit energy out of the state. 40% at this point in time is what we're sending out of the state, and a lot of it's coal-fired energy. It's prosperity for the state of West Virginia. We're an energy state, but you can't do it without transmission.
So the second part, reliable and affordable energy. So how does transmission lines factor into making it energy more affordable for West Virginians?
Well, that's a great question. And people think it's like filling your gas tank up with an automobile and so much goes in, but that's not the way energy's done. When you're running a power plant, you are guesstimating on what your demand's going to be, and then you power up to be able to be over top of what that demand is. And if you're under that, well, then you got to be able to bring it in somewhere else. It costs, when you're producing power out there, you can make a lot more energy at 100% of capacity than what you can at 50%. And I'm talking about cost-effective energy from that standpoint. Let's back up for a minute. The opposition was in here yesterday, and I had a friend that stopped in, and they told them that it was going to cost $250 additional on their electric bill if these transmission lines are built. That's not true. It's less than the cost of a cup of coffee for that. And if we build them and don't do anything at all, we are going to have even higher electric bills because we're not going to be able to have the ability to transmit the power around on the PJM.
He is Craig Blair, former Senate President, former Senate Finance Committee Chairman, with West Virginians for Reliable and Affordable Energy. Can you still sign the petition?
Yes, you can.
Where can you do that?
And it's called Power West Virginia Now. .org. I'll put sign out front here. www.power West Virginia powerwvnow.org. I got it out there. I should have done better.
The bell's ringing. You got to get to Senate.
No, I don't. That's a beautiful sound. I don't have to go now.
Hey, good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by.
And thank you very much for bringing us on here. You have questions about this, don't hesitate to reach out and call.
Absolutely, anytime. We're back to wrap up hour number 1. Talkline from the ARP broadcast location.
Cyber criminals don't send flowers or Valentine's cards. They send phishing emails, ransomware, and fake login requests designed to look harmless but capable of doing serious damage. CityNet helps businesses stay protected with layered cybersecurity solutions, continuous monitoring, and expert support right here in West Virginia. This Valentine's Day, don't fall for the wrong kind of attention. Learn more at citynet.net today. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
On the next State of Minds.
My dad always said, don't let any one individual control your destiny, what you do, what your value is. And I wasn't about to let Paterno do that to me. I mean, it was just a phenomenal time, my first game, and to be accepted as a Mountaineer.
President Trump is right. America's electric grid needs to be fixed now.
When you have a grid system in this country that's obsolete and a disaster, it can't produce the electricity, can't distribute the electricity.
For West Virginia, obsolete means power outages and lost opportunities. That's why more than 6,000 West Virginians signed a petition urging state leaders to support President Trump's call to fix our grid. Learn more at powerwvnow.org. Paid for by West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Dan Cava GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorough.
It's high school basketball season, and MetroNews Television has you covered. Rivalries, buzzer beaters, classic hardwood competition. Watch live and on demand from gyms across the Mountain State. Stream MetroNews Television on your iPhone, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select smart TVs. Or visit MetroNewsTV.com for more information. High school basketball lives here on MetroNews Television.
Hoppy Kercheval, 5:55 a.m. How early did you get in that day, by the way?
Probably 3:30.
How long did you do sign-on shift?
I signed on like 7 years.
Not all.
6 days a week for 7 years.
Lightweight.
I know. Couldn't do it now. Now when I wake up at 3:30 is to go to the bathroom. And go back to bed.
Welcome to the 2 o'clock hour, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com on a Wednesday, and I apologize because Stephanie Pauly is our producer, one of the producers of the show, and normally she has everything. We have a thing we call the run sheet, when we have who we're calling and what we're doing and so on. And so, and Stephanie, I don't even know whether you know this, I did the run sheet today, and I put the wrong date on. I put 2025 on it, because how many of us in modern day actually write the date out anymore? I mean, you did it when you were in school, you did it back when people wrote checks and whatever. This may have been the first day that I have written the date down, and I was responsible for putting together the sheet. And my co-host, the lovely and talented AB, starts the show by saying January 24th, 2025, because she read it directly off the sheet. And it is indeed the year of our Lord, 2026.
Oh, yeah, he did find something out. Something, you're related to Thomas Jefferson?
Well, no, I'm not related to Thomas Jefferson, but I am related to Samuel Kercheval, who was a historian.
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. I want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably. Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble, when it goes to court here. Is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument, because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bouncing him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Yeah. 10 seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things, and I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard, and if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome to the AARP broadcast location. We are in the upper rotunda of the West Virginia State Capitol. Dave Wilson, TJ Meadows with you. Forgot to introduce the cast in the first hour of the show because we had a lot to get to. Stephanie Pauley is on-site video producer. Jake Link is at Master Control in Morgantown. If you're watching on the MetroNews Television app or one of our other outlets, Facebook, YouTube, we are there. We appreciate you, as well as our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia this morning. Coming up second hour of the show, we are loaded once again. We're getting connected with U.S. Senator Jim Justice. Also, we'll talk to the city manager of Fairmont, Travis Blooser, will stop by, and a couple of representatives, including one of the high school students here with the American Cancer Society. Among other things, the anti-tobacco folks are in the building today talking to lawmakers. In fact, there's a group of them right in front of us. As a matter of fact, they all have T-shirts on. Tobacco-free day. They're easy to identify.
Yes.
So we'll be talking to them. And Brian Sanson, president of the UMWA, is scheduled to drop by. They had a news conference at their headquarters just down the street from here. Earlier this morning, they are speaking out against development of natural gas-fired power plants in West Virginia, saying, hey, coal is what got us here. Dance with, and my words, not theirs. Brian can speak for himself. Dance with the lady that brought you. So we will get into all of that as this hour unfolds. Both the Senate and House floor sessions just getting underway this hour. But first, let's talk to the former governor, now U.S. Senator, joining us on the phone this morning on MetroNews Talkline, Senator Jim Justice. Senator, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Hope everybody's good.
Appreciate you being on. You can be on. It's just the three of us. Do you miss being here at the state capitol? Do you miss being in the middle of the all the discussions here at the Capitol?
Well, sure I do. I mean, sure I do. You know, to some degree, anyway. I mean, you know, I always say it's a big honor being a U.S. senator, but you know, I love the people of West Virginia. I mean, it'd be hard for me to ever say anything, but it was an incredible honor being the governor, and I love the people, and I just want goodness. That's all there is to it. I want us to keep it going. I want more and more and more good things to happen in West Virginia because the people deserve it.
Senator, I want to talk a little bit about this partial shutdown and some of these agencies under DHS that are, well, let's just call it, they're not funded right now given what is happening in Washington. How do we get to resolution of this issue to ensure these agencies that may be caught up in the issue with ICE and elsewhere are funded and these government employees get paid every day?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, guys, it's awful. I mean, it is absolutely disgraceful beyond belief. You know, we've been through, now this is, I guess, the third shutdown, and, you know, since I've been around there, and you know, I really felt like, you know, that there would be no way on the planet that we would do this the first time. You know, but what you've got is you've got nothing more than and I hate to put it all on the back of the Democrats because, you know, the Republicans surely are making mistakes too, but with this being said, and, you know, I don't care. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. I have never cared. You know, I have my strong conservative values, you know, that I absolutely am really proud of. But at the same time, I want to be respectful to others and everything else. But in this situation, to just call it like I see it, the Democrats are playing a hand for the midterm election. That's all this is, guys. That's all in the world it is. And they really don't care who they hurt because their messaging, I mean, historically, the messaging of the Democrats is light years above the messaging of Republicans. And Republicans, you know, seem to me to want to get a lot of good stuff done and get a lot of good stuff done, and their marketing of their messaging is terrible. You know, I tune it to just this is like it's almost like we as Republicans and the president have pitched 9 straight perfect games, and we're sitting around worrying about winning the midterms. Well, how can that possibly be unless you are marketing yourself terrible? Now, in this situation, you know, whether it be FEMA or the Coast Guard or whomever it may be, and folks not getting paid is just horrible, just plain horrible. You know, people standing in lines at TSA and everything at the airports because the TSA workers are not getting paid, maybe part of them aren't working and everything. It's terrible. You know, but you see, this isn't about that. That's what's wrong with D.C. You know, it's always just a food fight. It's the Republicans against the Democrats or the Democrats against the Republicans. Who can win the battle? You know, and at the end of the day, you know, I always tell everybody there's a name and there's a family at the end of every business, but they don't care about that. That's why Congress has a 14% approval rating, and it's deserving. You know, that's not good. It's just not good any way you cut it, and you think, well, gosh, we ought to be able to figure this out. Well, of course we ought to be able to figure it out, but they don't want to figure it out. That's the point that you got to understand. They don't want to figure this out. They want this to drag on where they can get up on their soapboxes and they can absolutely make a pitch for the midterm election. That's what this is all about. It's not about anything that makes sense.
Senator Jim Justice joining us here on MetroNews Talkline. Senator, when you say Republicans aren't getting their message out or aren't as good at marketing, are you talking about the way the Epstein files have rolled out, the way that was the PR debacle that's been, or the way that Kristi Noem, Secretary of DHS, was handling the situation in Minnesota? Are you talking about episodes like that or referencing something else?
No, I'm really referencing something else. But you know, in all honesty, guys, I mean, we can surely do better than what we've done, and we've made some mistakes. You know, whether it be the folks in Minnesota or whether it be the Epstein files, maybe we could have come out a little faster with all this stuff and been more transparent and everything. But listen, you know, there's always another side, you know, where somebody like with the Epstein files is, you know, saying, you know, well, if we just roll all this stuff out and everything, the media is going to do this and there's going to be some very innocent people that are going to get hurt. Well, you know, to me, being completely transparent is exactly what we should be all the time, as best we can possibly be, because at the end of the rainbow, the people that this monster affected their lives one way or another, you know, young girls especially, it is so horrible. It's just unfathomable, you know. And so anybody that's connected with that in my book, you know, ought to have, you know, every book thrown at them that you can possibly throw at them. You know, now, but we do want to protect the innocent, and you know, harming those would be bad. So I'm sure that Pam Bondi and I mean, listen, I know Pam really well, and she's the real deal, and she's really, really good, and she's strong as she can be, and you don't want to mess with her because she's tough. But I'll promise you, she is trying to do the very, very best she can possibly do. And President Trump the same way. I mean, for God's sake, a living, you know, he called the police on this man, you know. And so you know, I just think as far as Epstein, you know, but my point of what I was saying about the messaging is just this: is, you see, Republicans historically have been this. You know, they get together and they decide what they think is really good for this nation. And then they go out and they do it. And they don't really spend any time selling to the American public or just telling the American public all the things that they're trying to do. You know, what they do is they try to get something done and think, well, the American people then, since they got this done, the American people will understand it. But look, guys, I was the person that really believed stay in touch with Toby and Edith all the time. Republicans are not very good at that. Republicans need to slow down just a little bit and talk to Toby and Edith. That's what I'm saying. Because so often the Democrats have no game at all, a horrible message, and literally they're talking to Toby and Edith all the time. And at the end of the day, Toby and Edith then become confused, and lo and behold, then we are where we are. And where we are is just what I just said a minute ago. For crying out loud, whether it be the big, beautiful bill or whatever it be, the border, energy, on and on and on, inflation, anything. Pick a winner. The extended tax breaks, all the different things, Republicans have done, and yet right this minute they're genuinely concerned about losing the midterm. Something's
Senator,
really wrong with the messaging.
Let me ask you about the border, because you talked about it. Border's locked up. Done a good job at the border. So that kind of, I think, feeds a focus on looking at who is here illegally in the country. Just a common sense solution. And I know it would require Congress to change the law, but should we look at, of those that are here now, whether they got here legally or illegally, those who are here illegally, if they're not violent criminals, should we give them a path forward? The guy working at the restaurant down the street, or the guy I know because our kids play ball together and he's paying taxes and he's working. Should we just come up with a common sense solution to let those people stay and give them a path to citizenship and just focus on getting rid of those who are truly violent criminals that have come here illegally?
Well, we should, no question, we should be getting rid of the criminals. And we should, and it seems to me like we ought to be able to do that, in a format that maybe is a little bit different than, 1,500 ICE agents in the middle of downtown, But in all fairness to all that too, just think about our National Guard in our cities and everything. Think of how much we have improved things, how much safer we have made things, the progress that has been made. And God, please always remember, there's two unbelievable guardsmen that we got shot, and Andy clinging for life and lost Sarah, But all that being said, you make a very valid point. At some point in time, no matter if we, think it or deny it, we're going to have to come up with some pathway that makes good common sense. And I think Republicans, I think our president, I think all would be in support if we can just come together and halfway come up with a pathway of something that makes common sense and good sense. Because just like you say, somebody that's been in the country for 35 years and has been a wonderful citizen and everything, and, whatever it may be, it just seems preposterous that we can't come up with a solution that works for everybody.
U.S. Senator Jim Justice. Senator, we appreciate you taking a few minutes with us, and we'll talk again real soon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. U.S. Senator Jim Justice. Dave and TJ, Talkline, the ARP broadcast location. We're in the Upper Rotunda, West Virginia State Capitol. More in a moment.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
Hospitals drive West Virginia's economy. They produce jobs and create opportunities while keeping our communities healthy. Employing nearly 54,000 people, West Virginia hospitals rank among our state's largest and most dependable employers. They provide more than $1 billion in community benefits and generate nearly $17 billion in total economic impact each year. Hospitals are investing where it counts, advancing health, ensuring access to care, and powering West Virginia's economic future.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at WVHA.org.
Kids are active, and sometimes injuries happen. At WVU Medicine Golisano Children's, our orthopedics team specializes in caring for growing bones, joints, and muscles. From sports injuries and fractures to scoliosis and complex conditions, we provide advanced treatment with a gentle touch because kids deserve care designed just for them. Call 855-WVU-CARE to schedule an evaluation or visit WVUkids.com.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
The conversation starts long before the game.
He doesn't do this to other guests, but every time I'm on here, he creates distractions.
Disrespectful.
With his phone. I mean,
I have to have the phone on in case Pete Thamel breaks another story.
Join Tony Carini, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television, available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronews.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Steig Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. We believe retirement starts with a plan. Saving for college starts with a plan. Your legacy starts with a plan. Do you have the right plan? Call our team at 304-443-4240 or email steig-info@wealthenhancement.com.
Told you it was a busy show today. Joining us here at the ARP broadcast location, City Manager of the Friendly City. That's Fairmont, Travis Blooser. Travis, thanks for coming by. Good to see you.
No problem, guys. It's always great to be here with you.
Appreciate you coming by. So what brings the Friendly City to the capital city today?
Yeah, trying to meet with state agencies as well as our legislators about significant infrastructure projects that we have forthcoming in the city. First phase alone, $108 million in improvements on the sewer front, and about $25 million in phase one improvements on our water utility front. So, you know, certainly we're looking for dollars, whether that's at the federal level or at the state level, working with our partners. We can't do this alone, or our customers are going to end up footing the bill for that significant improvement. And so if we can share that burden, that's great. And we've had partnerships in the past with the state and the federal government, and so we're hoping that continues. But we also want to make sure that our senators and our delegates are well aware of what those projects look like, as our utility infrastructure spans well outside the city in terms of its footprint.
Tough budget.
It is. It is. I think the state is, you know, things are tight, but I also think both the legislature as well as the governor have kind of articulated infrastructure as a priority, that infrastructure needs to be funded. You know, I think, you know, certainly from my perspective, being someone who's involved in trying to make these projects happen, there needs to be a lot more money funneled into infrastructure and in particular utility projects in the state, or our customers are going to be the ones faced with really having to bear that burden rather than allowing some of those offsets to happen.
What kind of reactions are you getting from lawmakers when you're having these discussions?
Yeah, I think great. I think we just left a meeting with Senator Oliveria and Senator Garcia, and I think both of them see the perspective. I think, again, it is a tight budget side, but I think most everybody believes in the utility systems and investing in those. I think one of the key things that I want to make sure is separated with them that I think sometimes gets lost in this building is that there is a difference between public utility companies and private sector companies. My shareholders are the customers, the people who are paying those bills, not shareholders in New York or on the private market. And so it's really important for that to be distinguished, because sometimes people are seeing increased utility rates from electric, gas, West Virginia American Water, those huge increases. Our rates are some of the lowest in the state at the city of Fairmont. And so we want to try to keep it that way, but also an investment in us allows us to do that. But it is a very complicated process, but we're very focused on our customers who are our shareholders, and I think that's a key difference, and I think sometimes folks need to be reminded in this building of that.
It seems like we have infinite needs, yet, as you would agree, we have finite resources. Should part of the conversation at some point be about trying to get fellow Marion Countyans to say, rather than residing in the unincorporated areas where maybe they've been for years, if we're going to get these kinds of dollars in city limits, is part of that conversation getting them to move within the city so that we can at least have that pipe to the city rather than trying to build it out in the whole county?
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think the city of Fairmont and Marion County have been really successful with that, in particular on a waterfront. I mean, we went probably about a decade before we increased rates a couple of years ago on the water side, and that in particular was that resell footprint, expansion of our system out into Mannington. We like to tell people from Goshen Road in McElhinny County all the way down to Saltwell and Harrison County, you drive along I-79, pretty well most everyone along that footprint, they're getting City of Fairmont water, whether that's coming through our distribution system or whether that's coming through a PSD or another city water utility system that's buying water from our treatment plant. So we have a major footprint in terms of that resale environment. So we've been working that. Marion Countyans and McElhinny Countyans and Harrison Countyans have all been working that together of expanding that. We have future expansions that we're looking at. But when you talk about those like infinite needs, we've kind of looked at, just on our end, about $1 billion worth of needs on a utility front that are out there.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. But if someone came and handed me in the legislature, the governor said, here's $1 billion check, there's no way I can make all of those improvements in one single year. That there's design work, there's bidding, trying to make sure we have competition so we can drive down cost. Those projects won't all happen in one fell swoop. And so really our focus is trying to, and I think this is where making sure that the legislature understands, as well as the governor's office and other funding agencies, is that we're trying to prioritize projects. What's going to make the key difference now and invest in that? And that's why we've looked at, on the sewer front, we have just at our sewer treatment facility about over $300 million worth of work that needs to be done. We could go out and try to take on all of that in one time. But what we're looking at is saying, let's do this in phases so that we can try to make sure we create efficiencies, that we're improving the system, seeing how well it needs to work. We've also invested really big in technology. We're also doing flow metering in our sewer system to be able to see where's that sewer flowing, so that we can really determine how big of a facility do we need. Do we need 400 million gallons a day to treat, or do we need 20 million gallons a day? And so we've had a really wet weather side of this year, so it's given us a lot of data. We're getting into that, but data is really important to this too, and making strategic investments. And I think North Central West Virginia in particular, and where we're at, we've got a significant need. I mean, you can hear stories of Worthington and what they've dealt with some of their sewer issues. No one wants to see that. And if we don't invest in our public utility systems, that's what we're going to see more and more of, and why I think it is so important. That kind of stability, not only does that hurt residents, but it also hurts businesses that are looking to invest in the community.
Travis Blooser, City Manager in Fairmont, thanks for coming by, buddy.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no problem. Thanks, guys.
This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's check in with the Metro News Radio Network, find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence. A security guard is dead and a Raleigh County man is behind bars after an incident at Glade Springs Resort.
Raleigh County Sheriff Frank Priddy said his deputies were called to Glade Springs front gate around 9 o'clock Monday night.
The suspect tried to enter Glade Springs, and there was a shooting. The suspect actually shot the victim, and he succumbed to his injuries later at the hospital.
The suspect, 60-year-old Michael Lloyd Taylor of Pineyview, was arrested early this morning at his home. He's charged with first-degree murder and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. The victim was the Glade Springs security guard. He was unarmed. State police have also identified the victim of a crash that closed I-79 for several hours Monday in Marion County. Dead is 47-year-old David Pardue of Burnsville. Troopers say he was headed south and traveled over the left fog line, hitting a concrete barrier, and that impact caused his pickup truck to veer back into the passing lane, where it was struck by a semi near mile marker 139. Pardue was dead at the scene. The president of Bridge Valley Community and Technical College will be leaving. Dr. Casey Sachs will take a new job with the U.S. Department of Education as Chief Financial Officer.
My portfolio will include things like finance, obviously, but facilities and IT and human resources and some of the really important functions that just help an organization that's that big do its job.
You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Brighten your mornings with Tudor's $5 Sunrise Specials. Enjoy our Mary B, egg, crispy bacon, and cheese on our buttery biscuit, loaded with more bacon than the rest. Or try the Ron, featuring a bigger, hearty sausage patty topped with egg and cheese on a biscuit so delicious you'll savor every bite. Each combo comes with crispy hash browns and your choice of coffee or iced tea, all for just $5. Warm up winter mornings with this hot deal. Available for a limited time.
Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence, and the great outdoors is coming inside. Join me at the 24th Annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show presented by Can-Am, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. More than 100,000 square feet of fishing gear and hunting supplies, outfitters and charter boats, ATVs, campers and tractors, guns, knives, and much more, all under one roof. An outdoorsman's paradise. The West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, March 7th and 8th in Morgantown. A WVRC media event. House Education Committee has opened up the discussion on modifying the school aid formula. There have been serious concerns in the past year about school funding as public schools continue to lose enrollment, and the formula leaves many counties struggling. The United Mine Workers stands opposed to proposed gas-fired power plants in West Virginia. Union President Brian Sanson spoke to reporters last hour in Charleston, saying the plants will have a long-term negative impact on the economy of coal and coal jobs for years to come. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
All right, we had to call an audible. We've called about 6 of them today. Omaha. We'll get Brian Sanson, UMWA, on here in just a minute. Doug Hogan, American Cancer Society Government Relations Director, and Brianna Cutright from Robert C. Byrd High School are here today. Today is Tobacco-Free Use Day, or Tobacco Use Free Day, or Don't Use Tobacco Day. How about that?
Tobacco-Free Day. There you go. Perfect. That's fabulous.
Guys, good to see you here. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for having us. We really appreciate being here. And actually, we come bearing gifts, okay? We have an umbrella for both of you.
Nice.
And we have an umbrella because today we're having a rainy day rally. Rainy Day B is the bill. It's House Bill 5108 with Delegate Rohrbach. That's the bill that would take just a very small portion of the interest in the Rainy Day B fund and give that to tobacco prevention, to make that investment so that we can lower usage rates here in West Virginia for the adults and obviously for the kids like Bree. So Rainy Day B with your umbrellas. We have some ponchos. We had 300 or so kids this morning from across the entire state out on the steps of the Capitol rallying, and we really appreciate them and what they're doing, and we think this is certainly an investment that we need to make now for our next generation.
So how much money are we talking, number one? And as you well know, number two, it's a tough budget year. You saw probably what happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. How are you going to navigate those waters?
It is a very tough budget year, and it's always a tough time when you're talking about lifting and budget issues. It's $5 million, so let's back up 30-plus years or so with the Master Settlement Agreement, right? And so West Virginia's portion of those MSA funds set up the Rainy Day B fund, all right? All we're asking for is $5 million from the interest from that fund. Guess what? That fund generates $3.2 million a month in interest. So all we're asking for basically is 6 to 8 weeks of interest money from that fund to be used for an intentional investment that we feel can really have an impact. You know, West Virginia has the highest or among the highest rates of teenage smoking and vaping usage, as well as other tobacco products, and among the highest for adult usage as well. Obviously, cancer and related to tobacco use is through the roof. Again, top of the list where you don't want to be at the top of. This is a very responsible, intentional way that we can lower those usage rates.
Bree, enough of the old guys.
Right.
What's your message to lawmakers? What do you want to tell lawmakers while you're down here today?
So I think the biggest thing is it's important for the youth to get out and have a say, obviously. I recently turned 18. I registered to vote. And while talking about tobacco, it's important that people understand, like, we know that it's bad for us. Everybody knows, oh, don't smoke, it's not good for you. But also, it's a real issue. It's not just something you're seeing on social media. It's something that is happening to your kids, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. It's something that's happening in real life and in real time.
What about vaping? Everybody knows smoking's bad, but what about vaping?
Oh, it's awful. As a senior in high school, and because I've been involved in tobacco advocacy for so long, I've kind of grown up with it as well. So starting in middle school, we see kids starting with like going off to the bathroom and sneaking a vape every couple hours or in between classes, and the bathroom smells like cotton candy, and there's multiple pairs of feet under the stall, and that it's not perfume that they're spraying. And as we go into high school, we see them, like, they need it in class. They put it in their like hoodie sleeves and like look like they're trying to like take a nap or stuff. And like, it's the way that they have become so addictive, like their methods change as well. So it's awful, and getting to see it firsthand has been something that I have used to my advantage, because I can see what's happening. My peers are being affected.
And this money, it would allow you to do what in reaching your peers? How would you use it?
So one of our previous programs that we had access to here in the state of West Virginia was called RAISE. It was a club for middle and high school students that basically just offered education about the products, the dangers, to middle and high school students. And that's how I got involved. I joined the club in 6th grade, and it brought me all the way here today when I'm 18 and sitting in the Capitol getting to talk about it. But I think it's important because there's so many kids that aren't getting the opportunity. They're not hearing about the dangers. There's not signs in the bathrooms that say, hey, this is bad for you, like, you should not do this. Everybody knows it, but then if it's not in your face, the kids are going to ignore it. They're going to ignore me too most of the time, but I'm considered old now.
Poor guy.
No, not really.
I'm ancient. Well, and we really thank Bree and everybody what they're doing from the student level. And it does take students. It's peer-to-peer. You have to have that interaction. They're not going to listen to me. I get that. But if you have other folks the same age and you can really, use those techniques for prevention, it does work. It makes an impact.
It does.
I would assume you were pleased the Senate wants to increase the tax on vape cartridges and refilling those?
So I haven't really had a chance to read through all that and digest it just because of today's events, but we'll certainly take a look at that and see how we want to go. Obviously, we are advocates of a comprehensive tax policy, and when you're looking at tobacco taxes, including the cigarette tax, so we're, usually we like comprehensive policies that increase that cigarette tax as well as then parity for all the other products involved.
Bree, dare I ask you the question that you're probably tired of answering at this point in the year? Plans after high school? What are you doing?
Well, ironically, I'm not doing anything. So as of right now for college with my advocacy work, I'm a band kid. I'm a band nerd, and I want to pursue music therapy at Ohio University. So.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. Congratulations on the work so far. Now go make the lawmakers do something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nobody else can get them to do anything. Maybe you can.
5108. It's in banking and insurance. We need to move it. Delegate Rohrbach is a huge, obviously, a supporter, as well as Delegate Amos, and so they're working on it. We need it now.
What's the number on that? 5108?
5108. Yep.
Got it. Doug Hogan, American Cancer Society Government Relations Director, Brianna Cutright, Robert Seabird High School, and self-proclaimed band nerd. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Thank you
guys.
for having us.
Brian Sanson, UMWA, next.
President Trump is right. America's electric grid needs to be fixed now.
When you have a grid system in this country that's obsolete and a disaster, it can't produce the electricity. It can't distribute the electricity.
For West Virginia, obsolete means power outages and lost opportunities. That's why more than 6,000 West Virginians signed a petition urging state leaders to support President Trump's call to fix our grid. Learn more at powerwvnow.org. Paid for by West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
Since 1926, the West Virginia Hospital Association has been the collective voice of our state's hospitals. With a shared vision of strengthening communities, improving lives, and supporting our state's economic well-being, our member hospitals work every day to provide high-quality, accessible care. This year, we celebrate 100 years of a unified voice and our ongoing commitment to supporting our members in achieving a strong, healthy West Virginia.
A message from the West Virginia Hospital Association, online at wvha.org.
Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence. Make plans to join me at the Mountain States premier fishing, hunting, and outdoor sports show presented by Can-Am, Saturday and Sunday, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. Over 200 vendor booths and 100,000 square feet of everything outdoors, all under one roof. Great prizes, seminars, and kids fish for free in the Academy Sports Trout Pond. It's the 24th annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. A WVRC media event.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
With Metro News Hotline. If it's trending, it's probably here.
So it's Dennis, it's Rodman degrees out there today.
Oh, that sounds really uncomfortable.
I know it does. I know it does.
Is that legal? Is that past FCC? I don't know if you're allowed to say anything's Rodman something. That's
it's Rodman degrees.
That's like saying it's awful Diddy out there. I don't know that we can do that.
Yeah. Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
On the next State of Minds.
My dad always said, don't let any one individual control your destiny, what you do, what your value is. And I wasn't about to let Paterno do that to me. I mean, it was just a phenomenal time, my first game, and to be accepted as a Mountaineer.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
It may start feeling like boating weather, but if you've looked at the water, it ain't boat weather, is it, TJ? It's muddy. Canal was muddy this morning. Up and muddy. But soon enough, it will be time to get out on the water, so you want to be thinking about your pontoon or fishing boat now and checking out all the inventory at LewendellMarineSales.com. Lewendell Marine Sales, we sell family fun. Just down the street this morning, the UMWA held a news conference over at its headquarters here in Charleston. UMWA said that the proposed gas-fired power plants in West Virginia will directly eliminate coal jobs, weaken local economies, and shift control of the state's energy future out of West Virginia. The news conference coming on the heels of the announcement earlier this week of more mines being shuttered in the state of West Virginia. Joining us on the ARP broadcast set is the international president of the United Mine Workers of America, Brian Sanson. Brian, good to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming by. What was the message you wanted to get out in the news conference today?
The main message is that we have to bring awareness to the citizens of West Virginia about the serious danger that these natural gas power plants bring to our economy. If you look at just the Harrison County power station, it employs almost 800 UMWA and utility worker members. One natural gas fired power plant comes in, and they do employ temporary construction workers. But when they're done, those gas plants run on 30 to 40 workers, and that's it. Our economy is sustained on these coal jobs. If you come in and you replace coal-fired generation with natural gas that's employing 30 to 40 people, you're wiping out the entire economy of West Virginia. This is something that every West Virginian should be concerned about, and that's why we are bringing it to the public's attention.
How do we balance what you were talking about with the need for low-cost electricity? Affordability is a big buzzword these days. We talk about rates going up. If you talk to the utilities about these plants and why they're going in this direction, they'll tell you that they're going to be able to provide cheaper electricity with one fuel over the other. What would you say to that criticism?
I would say that we've seen nothing in the United States other than fuel switching. And since fracking began and we started seeing these natural gas plants come online, have Americans seen, or West Virginians seen, their gas bills go up or down? Coal's been the baseload electricity in this country through world wars. The price of coal hasn't significantly increased in the last decade. West Virginians are paying for the construction of renewables and natural gas plants in other states. And that's getting passed on to the ratepayers. That's why bills are going up. It's not that natural gas is cheaper. It does take less people to operate a plant. And, you have to weigh the employment effects that's going to have on the state versus any economic benefit. The benefit doesn't go to the citizens of West Virginia. The benefit goes to the data centers in Loudoun County, Virginia, to Google, to Amazon, any of these cloud-based groups that are burning up huge amounts of electricity in our country.
West Virginians got hit again. Last Friday, warn notices went out. Greenbrier Minerals, LLC, eliminating 530 jobs. How do we stop the slide?
Well, a good way to start is for the Public Service Commission to deny these permits. We don't need additional generation in the state of West Virginia. 85% of our economy and electricity is run off of coal, and we export our power. This is just coming in, bringing direct competition, not just to the state. They're building them right beside the coal-fired power plants. First Energy, gets up on stage with Governor Morrissey, and they talk about how they want to bring jobs and savings and all these great things to West Virginia, and how they're going to work in conjunction with the Fort Martin power plant and with the Harrison County power plant. But back in February, they tell their shareholders that they plan to close the Harrison County power plant and the Fort Martin power plant and replace them with natural gas. That's happening now. When these permits came in to build these plants, that is the beginning of their plan. Governor Morrissey's 50 by 50 plan is going to cost us tens of thousands of jobs in these coal fields, because you cannot replace careers with temporary construction work. I don't know what the thought process was behind that, but I know that it's going to negatively affect coal miners. It's going to negatively affect communities and retirees who count on these coal companies.
Should West Virginians be willing to pay higher electricity bills if it means keeping more mines open and more miners working?
I don't really think it is a question of that, because, again, if coal's on an even playing field, we can compete with anything. And we are the only reliable base fuel. We can run no matter what. And these other forms of energy can't. So, I don't think it's an apples to apples comparison because of the job impact that natural gas does have on West Virginia.
Brian, every forecast that I've seen looking ahead for energy consumption, they'll take as much as we can produce. Data centers are going to need it. Plug it in. If you're driving a Tesla, you got to plug it in. Seems like the forecast is skyrocketing. Is there room for everybody at the table as far as generation, coal, natural gas, all the above? Because it seems like the consumers will take every bit of energy we can produce. Is there enough room for everybody there?
No.
Why not?
We just had the coldest snap that we've had in, 30 years come through? And I think that Harrison County Power Station was running at about 50%, 50 to 60%. Natural gas, the PJM made a conscious choice to put natural gas, renewables, and other forms of energy in front of coal. We were the backup source during that cold snap. And when you have a power plant that's running at 50, 60%, that's designed to run at 90%, they're not going to make it. You don't have to close down a coal-fired power plant to eliminate coal mine jobs. You just have to reduce the amount of capacity that they're putting out onto the grid, and that will eliminate these, thousands of jobs.
In your mind, is PJM manipulating the market? Every day I look, it's more natural gas, then nuke, then coal. Natural gas is at sometimes more than half the amount of the PJM grid. Are they manipulating the market, in your opinion?
I think there's a real problem with PJM. I think that West Virginia citizens don't elect them. 13, 14 states are involved. I would love to see the administration step in here and bring some stability, because what we have here is it's not adding. This is fuel switching. We're seeing power plant after power plant close all over the eastern United States, and part of it is that fracking is in these areas, and it is a short distance to that source. But West Virginia has a responsibility to try to pass some legislation here to prevent these coal-fired power plants from closing. But beyond that, our federal representatives have a responsibility here to try to protect these jobs here in West Virginia, and hopefully the administration will do so as well.
UMWA International President Brian Sanson, hey, we appreciate you coming by short notice today. Thanks so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Back to wrap it up in a moment. This is Talkline from the Capitol.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At the Health Plan, we are here for you, and we have been one of the most trusted carriers for over 40 years. Headquartered right here in West Virginia, providing exceptional health coverage and local customer service.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
Every day in West Virginia, we play for something bigger.
As a mom, I play for her education.
I play because it helps provide care for the ones who care for us.
I play to help keep our parks beautiful.
Why I play? Because every play supports West Virginia's future, our students, our seniors, and our state parks. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery have totaled nearly $13.7 billion. I play. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Dan Cava GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
Download MetroNews Television on your iPhone or Android. Search MetroNews Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
It's high school basketball season, and MetroNews Television has you covered. Rivalries, buzzer beaters, classic hardwood competition. Watch live and on demand from gyms across the Mountain State. Stream MetroNews Television on your iPhone, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select smart TVs. Or visit MetroNewsTV.com for more information. High school basketball lives here on MetroNews Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Powerball jackpots, $169 million. Mega Millions is $395 million. So go ahead, play today. I'm exhausted.
Give the man a towel.
That was a full show.
It was. There was a lot. You know what? I like the Sugar Ray Leonard type shows, though, where it's just like jab, 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 topic to topic. I like that.
More of a heavyweight where you got to go lay on the guy for a minute.
You want to uppercut somebody, don't you?
Just take him out in the first round.
It was fun.
If you missed any of the show, you can watch it in its entirety on the MetroNews TV app. Podcast will be posted up shortly. You can catch it there. We're back at the state capitol tomorrow. We'll see what happens throughout the afternoon today. See if we can line it up again, knock them all down tomorrow once again. Big thanks to Jake, Stephanie, Ethan, and is that everybody? That's everybody. That's the crew. We appreciate it, guys. Back to the Capitol tomorrow. Metro News Midday coming up on many of these same Metro News radio stations. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.